Welcome back to day 18 of our 90 days data analytics challenge. I am super excited to have you back. And today we are basically talking about conditional logics in Excel. We are going to be talking about the if statement, COUNTIF, SUMIF statement, and see how it works. But first, let's start by talking about why these functions matters. Why do we use these functions? Statement helps us make decisions based on a specified condition, right? And the COUNTIF function counts the cells that meet a particular condition. So let's say we want to count something, but maybe we want to count only the total sales that is 500 and above in this context. So we are going to use the COUNTIF statement for that, or we call it function. And also we'll be talking about the SUMIF function. The SUMIF function adds numbers with conditions. So let's say we want to add two numbers, but we want to state a condition that only add the numbers when this and this happens. So that's when we use the SUMIF functions. Okay, so let's say I want to work with this particular column, and I want to have another column where I'm going to say that if the total sales is greater than 500, then it should bring back I. If it is less than 500, then maybe it can tell us that the total sales for that particular product is low. So what I'm going to do is I can create another column and just call it sales. Let me just call it sales now, okay? So if I create the other column, I can now use the if statement. So once I click on the cell where I want to start this statement, you can start typing here and you can come to the formula bar to type your formula. So we do equals to, remember I said anytime you want to work with a function, you start with an equals to sign. That's the only time Excel will understand that it is a function you are trying to call. Equals to if. All right, so even if you don't know what the function is about, Excel automatically gives you a summary of what the function is about. You can see here it says that it checks whether a condition is met and returns one value if it is true and another value if it is false, right? So first thing is you're going to specify a condition. If the condition is met, it will return the value that you specify if it is true, and if it is not true, it will return the other value. So now you open up a bracket. I always like to press tab to just open the brackets. So now the first thing you can see, it is highlighting this logical test in a bold black text. Logical test, that's the first thing you are typing in. So the logical test now is the fact that if this total sales is greater than 500, that's what I said. So the logical test now will be, I'll click on this total sales, I'm referencing that cell, then I'll say greater than, okay, and then I'll say 500. Okay, so what I'm saying basically is if this particular cell is greater than 500, then I'll do a comma. So after the comma, you can see that the bold text is now this value if true. So it's not asking you that if this condition is met, what should it return? So the value if true, we are going to say it should bring back I, that the sales is high. So because I is a string data type, it's going to be in quotes. Anytime you are working with string data type, it's going to be in quotes, all right? So I want to put it in quotes and say that I'll close the quotes. So if this condition is met, the value it should return if the condition is met is I. Then I'll do a comma. Once I do a comma, it will bolden this one that, okay, this is the next thing you should provide. If the value is false, means that the condition is not met. If the condition is not met, that means that the total sales is less than 500, right? So I'm going to say it should return low. Close the quote, close the bracket, and press enter. You can see that for this first one is returning I because the sales is more than 500 here. I can easily just click here and double click here. All right, it's going to do it for the remaining cells automatically. And if your double clicking does not work, you can just drag this down like this. Just drag it down. It's still the same thing. So you can see for this total sales here, we have 160, which is less than 500. And we said that anytime it is not greater than 500, it should bring low. And for the other ones, this one 1, 2, which is greater than 500 I, and on like that. So that is how we use if statements. We can use if statements for a lot of things, but this is just an example to give you an idea of when you need to use if statements. All right, let's say we want to gain insight into the customers that received discount or not. For the customers that received discount, we want to create another column where it says yes, the person received discount, and if they didn't receive discount, it says no's. So now we have this column, and you see that anybody that the discount is 0 means that there was no discount for that particular product, right? And if it is greater than 0, that means there's a particular percentage of discount for that product. So all we can do is write another conditional statement. All right, so let me just call this disk. All right, so now I'm going to do equals to, and I'm going to do if. All right, so if, what is the logical test? If this one is greater than let me use 0.01 for this case. If it is greater than 0.01, then I want to say that yes, that means that the person received discount, right? And if it is not true, that means if it is less than 0.01, I want to say no, that means the person did not receive discount. I'm just going to press the enter, and then I'm just going to double click on this icon right here. And now you can see that yes, this first person received discount, no, this person did not receive discount. The usefulness of this is, remember I said it earlier that we will not be working with small data set like this. So we cannot be looking at it one by one to see that, oh, this one is 0, this one is 0.15. No, it's going to be thousands of rows that you'll be working with. So that's why we need to understand these functions. I'm using a small data set because we are beginners, and using a large data set for a beginner might really confuse you. So that is why I'm picking it from the basic. So we want to know how many sales happen in the East region. All right, for example, so we have a column showing the region here, but we want to know how many sales happened in the East region. So I'm going to use COUNTIF function for that. How did I know that I'm supposed to use COUNTIF function? I knew that I would use COUNTIF function because the first thing is we want to know how many. How many means that you want to count something, right? I want to know how many sales happened in the East region. I want to count something, but I want it to be for only East region. Do you understand? So that's why I know that I'm going to add an if statement to the count that I want to do. And that is what made me know that I'm going to use the COUNTIF function. Okay. So let's just call this column header results. Let me just call it result. And then I want to do equals to. So we are going to do the COUNTIF function. Count the number of cells within a range that meets the given condition. All right, so we are using COUNTIF function. Then we have to specify the range that we want to count. So you said you want to count something. What is that range that you want to count? The range you want to count is this region right here. I'm going to highlight it, all right, and I'm going to do comma. Then what is the criteria that you want to specify that it should filter it by? So I want to say I want to count only when we have East. Right, I'm going to specify East, and I'm going to press the enter key. You can see that it's giving me 3. That the only times we have sales in East is 3 times. So let's check manually ourselves. You can see East tier 1, East tier 2, East tier 3. So this is very, very correct, and this is a scenario where you can use the COUNTIF function. Now let's talk about the SUMIF function. An example that I'm going to show you is, if you look at this column, we have products. We have shampoo, soap, conditioner, toothpaste, blah blah blah. I want to know the total sales that I made from shampoo products. All right, so I want to know the total amounts I made from selling shampoo, just shampoo, not all the products. So that means I'm going to use a SUMIF function. How did I know I'm going to use a SUMIF function? I want to know the total sales. That is, I want to sum something, but for only shampoo products. You understand? So you are applying a condition to it that you want to know the total sales, but not for everything, only shampoo products. Like that. Okay, and then I want to know the total sales for products. Sorry. So I'm going to do SUMIF. What is the range? So the first range you are stating will be the product range, right? So this is the product range. That is the first range that you are specifying. And then comma, what is the criteria? The criteria is that the product that you highlighted, the range you highlighted, must be shampoo. If it is not shampoo, ignore it. That's what we are basically saying. So it must be shampoo, and make sure that you get the spelling correctly as it is in your data set. So once it is shampoo, what are you now summing if it is shampoo? Now we want to calculate the total sales for shampoo. So the range we are selecting now will be this total sales column, and then we can close our brackets and enter. You can see that for shampoo products, the total sales that we made is 765. So let's see. You can see shampoo here, the sales here is 540. You can see shampoo here, the sales here is 225. So 540 plus 225 is going to give us 765, which is absolutely correct. So this is an example of how they can ask you business question and how you can easily use function to solve them. In the paid community, a data set will be available for you to practice the if, COUNTIF, and SUMIF function with business question that you try to answer with the data set. All right. I hope you understand everything we discussed in this class. And if you don't understand, you can drop it in the comment section and I'm going to give an answer. I'll try as much as possible to give an answer to your question. But if you join the paid community, it is not I will try as much as possible. I'm definitely going to give an answer to all of your questions. Next class, we are going to be discussing conditional formatting in Excel. I can't wait to see you in the next class, and bye for now.